So we're having technical difficulties again. We're back at having technical difficulties, but we're nonetheless back. And I have my lovely co-host. She's in the building for a limited time only. She's celebrating her baby's birthday. Tootster, what's up? What's out? As they say in Houston. And then we have our credit specialist who's going to get your credit right after you book her, of course. But we're going to talk about everybody's tarnished credit and how we can, go about fixing it. We have Chevon Patrick. She's on the line.
Hello.
Of Major League Credit Repair Services, and we're going to get to her shortly. But we're just going to, today's probably going to be a little short and show because of some of the technical difficulties. But we're going to go ahead and get the fun fact out the way and let Kiana do her thing. Amen, amen.
So, as I am celebrating my 7-year-old's birthday today, we are celebrating in a place where one of her favorite cousins resides. So this was a surprise to her. We drove down to North Carolina to see my brother and my nephews. And I thought that I would, amongst all the culture and all the history that is behind the Carolinas and the Virginias and all that good stuff, I thought that I would give you a little bit of something about a part of South Carolina that people may or may not be familiar with. So I want to talk about Atlantic Beach. So Atlantic Beach is in South Carolina and is nicknamed the Black Pearl. So it's called that because of its rich history, the Gullah Geechee culture, and Black-owned businesses, amongst other things. And like so many attributes of our culture, this came to be as a result of segregationist laws. In 1934, a bold Black businessman named George W. Tyson purchased 47 acres of land from a white landowner named R.V. Ward for $2,000. Now, I'm pretty sure that that wasn't the easiest of tasks, but nonetheless, he did it. And after that, he built Black Hawk nightclub, which became very popular and profitable during the era of Jim Crow. And that was allowing Blacks to have a place of their own to be able to come to. And after this, Mr. Tyson encouraged more Black folks to purchase land around this area, and so it began. More plots were purchased, and he himself bought 49 more acres of land adjacent to the tract that he already owned in 1936. This is in 36, okay? So the community continued to grow and was home to mostly descendants of Gullah Geechee people. It also became home to several Black-owned businesses, banks, hotels, and restaurants. So Black people came from all over to visit this area. And in 1966, as most beaches were starting to join together under the umbrella of the Myrtle Beach area, um, Atlantic Beach would separate and claim its own independence and become the town of Atlantic Beach. So it became its own town. So it became a host to great festivals such as Gullah Geechee Fest and Black Bike Week. So, but during this time, segregation laws became more strict and Black. Um, and when I say more strict, that means, i.e., white folks saw money coming in and successful Black shit happening and began shutting stuff down. So Black visitation began to diminish. But even after that, and even after a hurricane had hit, the town rebuilt and continued to strive. In 2016, it celebrated its 50th anniversary as an independent incorporated town. Atlantic Beach remains a part of the Grand Strand and one of the few Black-owned beach communities. So to a lot of people that visit the said events that I name, they call this Myrtle Beach. So yeah. It's I kind of been reading up on that for some time. Like, I didn't know. I saw Black owned beach and Atlantic Beach, and I was like, well, I know this is the Atlantic Ocean, but I had never, for one, I had never heard it called Atlantic Beach. I'd always heard it called Myrtle Beach. So then I just started looking up more of that information, and then saw that tidbit, and I was like, oh dang, who knew? Well, I didn't know that it was, a Black-owned community and claimed its own independence. Because I did also read that Myrtle Beach was trying to get in on the Black Bike Fest, and they were trying to capitalize off of it and wanted them to be a part of Myrtle Beach. And the community itself was like, nah, we good on that. And so, then they just started really messing with them real hard and filing complaints and doing all kinds of stuff. When Black Bike Week would come around, filing complaints and just doing a whole bunch of discriminatory stuff. And y'all know the Black Bike Week would go up and down in its attendance and promoting the festival and everything. So, but yeah, so that is a little bit of history behind that.
Thank you for that. And that's kind of interesting. I was having a conversation with a coworker the other day about, because I'm interested in the real Rick Ross's story. And the one thing that's hot right now is snowfall. And so there was an interview he had with Lord Jamal Rawdigga and what's the comedian, Godfrey. And they were asking him about Snowfall. He said, I've never watched it and I'm never going to watch it. He said it's like a cartoon, because what had happened was he had created this story. I mean, he had wrote this script. He got with John Singleton, and they were working on getting it together. And then John dipped on him, and then out of the blue, here comes Snowfall. But he was in conversations with, Hollywood. And Hollywood, he said, offered him $600,000, but they were going to pay the director and the other producers like some millions, and then they were going to get even more on the back end. But they just told him, we're going to give you $600,000, get out of here. And but everybody's loving Snowfall, not realizing that was something that was created off of the story of a real life person, and he's trying to get his story out so he can, resolve what he's done, because he's not happy, he's not proud that he did that, but he also wants to show the institutions that colluded with him and actually promoted it. And of course, Hollywood's going to take it and wash it down a little bit and do some other things. But the moral of what I'm saying is, when you don't know the origins of something and you just go with what's put in front of you, you just go along with it. If you read any books, I would urge everybody to read Machiavelli's book called The Prince. And there's two things in The Prince that shows this prince that he was gifting this information to, how to control your population, how to control the people that you rule over. And one thing that sticks out of everything is to remove their history. Remove it. Because if they don't know that how you came to power, then they'll be okay with how you present everything. And so I've heard about how Black Bike Week has kind of been terrorized by the locals around there. And I know, we all know why. And the only reason why I'm picking on this, because I know Black people that say racism doesn't exist. And they say that because they don't understand that there's various forms of this institution called racism. Not only that, they don't really like who they are. And so they try to find all these other reasons to say, well, you're not winning because of this, not realizing there are institutions, there are systems that are put in play to help trip you up. And the ones that are winning, are they really helping to get you together? There was a meme that I posted on Instagram the other day, and it says how Black celebrities act towards racism, and it was a blind man. It said, this is how Black celebrities act towards racism. And then it showed And this is how black celebrities act towards racism when they don't get a Grammy or Oscar, and it was a picture of Malcolm X. So, you have to start. I mean, you don't have to do nothing. You can be okay with the circumstance that you're under. But I mean, when you look at things that are happening behind the scene, then you start to raise the eyebrow, and then you start to look at everything. And once you actually know something, then you stop using this phrase called conspiracy theory, which just that phrase is just an indication that you don't know nothing, or you don't know enough, or you haven't read, you haven't studied. You get your information from CNN, Fox, MSNBC, who are all ran by corporations to give you very specific information to lead you away from your glory. So,
That, not only that, then they place doubt on the people, or that's another statement that's to diminish the the people who actually critically think about things, or who dig deeper than what they are willing to do. That's what I feel about that.
yeah.
So
Okay. Well, you ready to start your day with Tootster and go on and partay?
yes, I gotta go on and get it going.
Well, all right. You enjoy your weekend, ladies and gentlemen. That has been the co-host of the Jamille Harley Show, Kiana Quarles, with the fun fact. Um, y'all be safe out there and enjoy.
All right, bye. Be so y'all.
See ya.
All right. So I gotta read that. So hey, mama. Oh, shoot, let's get to these comments. Good morning, mama. Good morning, baby. Glad you with me this morning, virtually. Uh, Good morning, Shishi. Good morning. Glad you here with us virtually. And then we got a new face, Grace. How you doing, Grace? First time seeing you here on the show. Glad you stopped by to say one lamb. But with no further ado, we're going to introduce our guest for the day, because I know a lot of people came because we all got jacked up credit. Well, not all of us. Some of us have been very disciplined and diligent in getting that together. Um, but nonetheless, a lot of us do experience bad credit. Well, Sam, Cha Cha, my brother, he's in the building. Glad you could stop by too, King. Okay, with no further ado, let's get to the woman of the hour, Miss Chevon Patrick.
Everybody, good morning.
Mm.
Thank you for having me and inviting me onto the show.
So, okay. What's up, Lydia? Glad you're here too. So let's get to these questions. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for this. I had to switch laptops today. So most people, most people start companies based off of things that they enjoy or things that they're really good at. What sort of inspired you to create this credit repair service that you have?
Well, I struggled with my credit, and nobody ever taught me about credit. So there came a point in my life where I wanted to have nice things. I wanted to buy a house and get a job and things like that. Nobody ever taught me about credit. So I had like destroyed my credit before I even knew that it existed. And I was actually trying to get a job, and it was a job that I qualified for. I felt like I killed the interview and everything, and they called me back and was like, "Yo, your credit's jacked up," and I was just like, "What is credit?" Nobody had ever taught me about credit, so that was my real first disappointment and experience with credit. So I got to researching, what credit was, how to improve my credit. So I was able to, dispute the things that were on my credit and really learn how to maneuver and manage my credit. And that was pretty much the start of my credit journey. And as I progressed and I was able to, get jobs and buy a nice car, buy my house and things like that. And I started to share my score on Facebook and social media. And then people just were coming out of the woodworks asking me all types of questions. And everybody had a situation with their own credit that they needed help with. And then I began to realize that it wasn't just me, that it was actually a deficit in the community of financial literacy and financial education. So, I dove deeper into things, did a little bit more research, and it just got to the point where, I was working, I was going to school, and I was doing all these things, but so many people were coming to me for credit advice that I figured, I didn't like working in corporate America, so why not start a business to help people get their credit together, teach financial literacy, and promote that mostly in the colored communities. I help everybody that needs help, but primarily what I see is a void in the African American and colored communities.
Yeah, because that's not really taught in school. When you look at the institutions that we sort of maneuver through, you can look at, and of course there's always exceptions to the rules, right? So there's always some institutions that you might have one or two people that really care about the group, but the overall institutions, they make sure that they omit certain important things from the indoctrination of the mind, and credit's one of them.
Right.
When I was a kid, my mother, she didn't really know a lot. She didn't really understand business, but what she told us was, she told me and my brother, don't ruin your credit. Save.
Right.
She save your money. Don't destroy your credit. She did the best that she could do with the information that she had, and especially based off her experience. And so me growing up, I had some credit cards, and I let some people use a couple things, and they ran that up, and then I just didn't see the importance of it a lot, so I really didn't play with credit. And then when I went to college, of course, you have an amazing credit score. Here's a credit card. You like, well, I'm poor as hell, and the new Air Force Ones came out. Let's charge it to the game. But my cousin Tyler, she's been a big sister to me. She would always help me, and so she would help me get my credit back together. And then I think the last time, what really tarnished my credit was my student loans, because I didn't think I was going to live long enough to pay student loans back, and I know that sounds funny and it sounds stupid, but growing up, we were always in church. And so the preacher would always tell you, you going to hell and Jesus is coming back like a thief in the night. So I was like, I'm not even good. This is going to be over here in a little bit because Jesus is coming back. And then I realized that that's not happening. You got to pay these student loans back. Jesus ain't going to help you. Nobody's going to help you because you've accrued all of this money in student loans. And so now I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't pay this back. I don't even have a job. Like, it took me 2.5 years after college to land a real corporate job. And so it's been an uphill battle. I mean, I'm paying on it now, but it's like, man, it's like a never ending process. I'm going to pay them. I'm going to give them one big check one day and be like, don't ever come around here no more. But, I know people that have just ruined their credit over and over and over again, and then they help ruin other people's credit because we don't really understand. Like, we don't have a full understanding of it, and it's sad. But you end up, and then you have the parents that have put their kids, when they're children, they have accounts in their names and then ruin their credit. And it's like, when you get older, you kind of need that. You don't have to use it per se, but it's good to kind of have good credit. So what are you teaching, like, your loved ones or your kids, or, people at a young age?
I teach my kids about credit too. My oldest son, he'll be 19 here in a couple months. And I thought it was very important because they don't teach us this in school, and this is really where it should start, in the educational. This should be part of our core curriculum. I'm thinking of all the nonsense that they teach, but they omit, like you said, the important things that we really need to manage in life and that we need to be successful. And credit and financial literacy is definitely one of those things. So I'm very vocal with my children so that they know about credit, the importance of it, how to leverage it, and not to just financial literacy in general, how to invest instead of save, because that was something else that we were taught. Growing up, I was taught, if you can't pay cash for it, then you can't afford it and you don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that for a very long time, and teaching my kids the opposite of, just not saving but investing, and how to make smart financial decisions and things like that. Before my son turned 18, I gave him the credit rundown, and he has his own business, and I was telling him, like, you gotta keep your personal credit good so that you can leverage it. You can use this and move this around, and you don't have to compromise your personal finances and your personal credit to manage your business or to do this and that. So I do kick game to my kids for sure, because it's very important that they understand that at an early age before you get to college and they start pushing these cards and things on you, because that's the community that they target, because they know, okay, they fresh out the box,
And they eating ramen noodles.
Exactly. And it's a setup. It really is. So it's very important before you get to that stage to know what to expect and how to manage that.
I think it's dope that your son has a business. Before you said before he was 18, he had a business.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yep.
That's amazing. When you have your own business early on, you learn how to create other businesses, and that's a resource. That's a priceless resource, because you can't lose a job from yourself. You can't fire yourself. Even if a company goes under, you create another one. You do, what I mean? You don't have to keep asking or begging for a job. And unfortunately, the generation, like my generation on previous, that's what we were raised to do. And I was watching this one video where this guy was breaking down how the education system was created to create manufacturer workers. And I was like, wow, the more you know. And it made sense. I wish I had the link to play it. But what are some things that you think you can do to children even before 12, right? What can you do to sort of get their minds kind of starting to move in that direction as far as like credit? And
I think just having the conversation, just having the conversation and open up that door to talk about money. Like, my parents never talked about money with me, or any real financial strategies or tactics or anything like that. So just opening the door for that conversation. I feel like credit pretty much fits into a lot of things, especially if you have goals and aspirations and things like that. Both of my children have businesses, so I make sure that they knew beforehand, like, you don't have to work for anybody else. Like, I never, even though I've had corporate jobs, I've always known that I wanted to be my own boss. Like, I knew, like, this is not gonna last long, and I open up that space for my children to be independent thinkers, because the world tells you to go one way, and we were taught to go this way. But at this point, we see that we've been lied to, we've been bamboozled. So, we've got to be independent thinkers and, be able to go right when everybody else is going left.
Facts.
Let's do what makes sense and what we know to be true based on the evidence and based on what is currently happening. So, we have very transparent conversations in my household, and I call household meetings so that we can all get on the same page, and my kids can ask questions and things like that. And I just try to tell them and educate them on the things that I feel like they should know based on the experiences that I've had in my life and what I know. Credit to be in financial literacy and education. So I talk to them like I talk to my clients.
yeah. And that's good, because at least you have the information. Growing up, you'll hear parents tell you, well, you need to do this. And then you say, so how do you do it? I don't know. Figure it out.
Right.
And I'm like, that is horrible advice.
Yeah, it is.
If you know that something is important, especially for the future of this child, and they don't know, and you don't know, sounds like you both need to figure it out. You need to find it out together. Right. So do you put on any type of educational courses in your service?
My whole service I consider to be educational because, as soon as you start, even before you get started, we're having the consultation, and the consultation that I give is free. To just do a quick analysis, we'll go over your, credit report together, and then I'm able to kind of break things down in a comprehensible way so that you can understand it, because a lot of people don't even know how to read a credit report. So to be able to break it down and at least be able to read it and know exactly where you're messing up and what you need to do to improve your score, and then also the factors that factor into your credit score is important. So once you get to understanding the foundations of your credit and how it works, then you can start to learn how to manipulate it and boost your scores and do what you need to do to fix whatever the problem is. So yeah, it's just understanding. A lot of people just don't know and don't understand how credit works. So my whole service is based around education. Yes, I'll do the disputes. Yes, I'll, build your business credit, get you funding, things like that. But at the end of the day, it's very important that you understand what's going on so that I'm not fixing your credit. And then, 6 months later,
It's
down
back.
the line, you back to square one. Exactly. So I try to get people on a page where, they can be manage their credit independently once everything is good to go. So that is, they call me up all the time, extra questions. Like, clients are always going to have questions. If you really care about getting yourself together, you're going to be calling me with questions all the time. And I love those type of clients that are very communicative with me and are able to call and text and say, hey, I got this situation coming up, or what should I do here, or whoop-de-whoop. So, yeah, I am big on education.
So how long does it take? That's what I'm trying to ask. How long does it take to get your credit moving in the right direction? Is it a lengthy process? Is it a quick process? I'm pretty sure nothing is quick, but what's the average time, or is there an average time? Is it like per client basis?
Everybody's situation is a little bit different. I would say on average about 6 months, but it could be longer and it could be shorter. It just depends on how many items you have on your credit that need to be reconciled. It depends on how many times you have to submit disputes, because sometimes things don't always fall off after the first round. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 rounds, and it is a slow process. Like, a lot of people have been neglecting their credit their whole life. So this is years and years of negligence built up. So it's not a quick fix. It usually does take months. I mean, it takes just 30 to 45 days to hear back from the credit bureaus. So we're sending the mail in to the credit bureaus, and they're responding, but they have that 30 to 45 days to respond. So it is a very slow process. It does take patience, but it goes a lot quicker than it took for you to mess it up. So it's worth it if you've got that type of time, which most people do, but the unfortunate thing is that people don't contact you until they need the credit right then and there. They're trying to buy a car, they're trying to buy a house, and I got jacked up credit, I need to fix it. So a lot of people do try to rush the process, but it's just not a process to be rushed. So
Listen, I need to buy a house next week. Can you take these hundreds of dollars and clean this up for me?
That's
No.
how people are. Like, no, you got to sit back and chill. You got to go through the process, and we're going to figure out how you got here and how to avoid it moving forward.
So what are all the services that Major League offers?
So I do personal credit, which consists of me disputing items, finding inaccurate information, incomplete information, or unverifiable information on people's credit reports, which most people have. There's always, I find conflict somewhere. Even, if you had the account, it's up to the credit bureaus to prove that this is yours. So the burden of proof is on them. So as a consumer, you have the right to challenge anything on your credit report. And a lot of times you'll find inaccuracies on those reports. So if it's inaccurate, then it must be removed. So there's so many ways to do disputes, but I do disputes for people, provide credit education, And I do business credit as well. So I'm helping people that don't have access to a lot of cash flow, or people with poor credit, build out their business credit so that they can get the funding that they need to either start their business or grow an existing business that they already have. And then I also do lending. So once we get the business credit set up, then I can help you apply for loans, real estate loans, startup loans, and things like that to get your business rolling. I have a whole bunch of different types of loans, hybrid loans, things like that, for funding for startups.
Man, you a one-stop shop. I can fix your
I'm trying to
credit
be.
and then give you some money. What you want to do?
Yep, all of the things, yes, because people, there's a cash access problem, especially in the Black community. There is a cash access problem, and a lot of people don't realize that they have these options. People feel stuck because they're like, oh, I don't have good credit, or I don't have any money to start a business. But people don't realize that you don't necessarily need to have either, or collateral. Because that's what traditional banks want you to have. And, usually if you go into a bank and ask for a startup business loan, most people are getting denied unless you are bringing in considerable revenue, your credit's good, you got collateral, like all of those things that we're just not as privy to as, other cultures. So it's very important to get that knowledge out and let people know, like, you don't even need to have these things to be able to move forward in life. And if you are knowing what you're doing, you have a good business idea, it's definitely important to, get some guidance, get some guidance there, get your business credit set up, because once you set up your business credit, that's something that can be done without having to worry about your personal credit and things like that, because it's solely based on your business credit. So,
And that's one thing I want to circle back on when you said we're not privy to like the lending and stuff like that. So there's you got to put context to it when I'm talking to certain people, because they be like, Black people can get loans too. They can get loans. But if you don't have the information that was omitted from you, if the
right,
people that love you don't know this information, if
right,
the institutions that you go to don't give you that information, then how do you know how to access this stuff? How do you get to it?
right,
How do you even have the wherewithal to know that you don't know what you think you know? Because there's a lot of people out here that's talking about stuff that they don't know.
right.
So I'm glad you're here to clear that up. But I got a question for you from Chandra Jean.
Yes.
She. Is personal credit used or needed to build business credit?
No, it's not needed. It's not needed at all. You can actually build your business credit. Your business credit is made up of tiers. So, setting up your business credit is how you can completely separate your business from your personal, which is what you want to do anyway. Like, people don't even know that. People are out here starting businesses based off of their personal credit and their personal finances, which is what we don't need to be doing, because now you're weighing your personal down to finance the business, and you can only put back into what you get out of the business. So that is um, a big bottleneck, for a lot of people, because they didn't know this information when they first started their business, people that are already in business. So if you can start your business credit first, you can work on your personal credit while you're doing your business credit. It's completely separate. So by you being able to build out your business credit and actually build those tiers out as they need to be built out, so that you can move on to the next tier. So there's 4 tiers. So, you build out each tier, and moving on to the next tier is based off of the previous tier. So if you're able to pay those accounts timely and show that you're responsible and that you are credit worthy, then you're able to move on to the next tier until the point where you can do that without being a personal guarantor, which is getting those hard inquiries on your personal credit. So you can build out your business credit without having anything to do with your personal credit.
So with the business credit, is that like a mirroring image of personal credit, like the same sort of s- tactics apply?
Um, Kinda. It's different, but kinda. I mean, it's the same concept. You pay your bills on time, and you get more access to cash, and creditors and lenders trust you. So that's the whole concept of it all. But on the personal side, we've got TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax are the credit bureaus that govern the main credit bureaus that govern your personal. And on the business side, you have a different set of bureaus that govern the business credit. And one of the main ones is done in Bradstreet. They have a Paydex score. So that is the main one for business credit. And then you've got Equifax and Experian business as well are the other couple of main business credit bureaus.
So, what are some significant steps, maybe like one or two, that somebody can do to start the process of building business credit?
You want to get your store and vendor lines of credit set up. So on each tier, there's different types of accounts that report to that specific tier. So you want to start with your lower vendor lines of credit. So that would be net 30 accounts. You can get a net 30 account from vendors like Quill, Granger, Staples, Lowe's, Amazon. So there's different vendors like that. And depending on your business, you want to obviously apply for vendors that you're going to use. And even if you don't use them, you really just are trying to get that to report to your business credit. So even if it's something like Granger, like I have a Granger account, but I don't need anything from Granger. So, I might find one item that I'm like, okay, I could use this, or maybe you can buy it and sell it. Again, you don't necessarily have to keep it if you do make a purchase, but it's $50 or more. You buy something $50 or more, and that's how it is able to like activate that account so that it reports to your business credit, and then you pay it off. Once it's reported to the bureau, pay it off, and then you don't necessarily have to keep using that account. You just want to activate it so that it does report to the business credit bureau.
Mm-hmm. So do you help people start businesses too?
Yes. So I have a program. It's a business funding suite, and it is the only program that I know of in the world that combines everything under one umbrella, which is why I love it. I did it for myself to get my own business credit set up. And once I did that, I was like, yo, this is game changing. This is life changing, because now I have freed up my personal credit. Now I'm double lendable, because now I can get loans on my personal without having the weight of my business finances and business credit weighing my personal down. And now I'm able to get more money on the business side by having business credit. So what was the question?
Well, I mean, you was answering it.
Okay,
I know
good.
I asked, do you help people start businesses?
Yes.
That's what.
So the program helps you start the business. It walks you through step by step of from starting from scratch. So you don't even have to have your entity yet, but it walks you through the steps of setting up your entity with the Secretary of State, getting your EIN from the IRS, getting your Dun and Bradstreet number, and walking you through each and every single step that you need to make sure that your business is legit and it's congruent across all platforms. It's setting you up so that by the time you get to your fourth tier and you're able to actually apply for those larger loans and things like that after you've built out your business credit, it gives you that lendability factor, making sure that all your information is correct across all the things that the lenders would be looking at to approve you for those business loans.
I'm blown away. Why didn't I know you when I started my business?
Right, man. I mean, I wish I would have known this when I started my business, because I definitely did not start my business right. And it wasn't until I built out my business credit that I was able to expand, and it was like a whole new world, because I was so stressed at first when I first started my business, and especially when things happen in life and, I had to step away from the business. I've been up and down with my business. It's been a roller coaster just because of other things that had happened, and everything being based off of my personal credit and finances. So setting up that business credit was clutch, for real. Yeah, definitely important.
Okay, so we have another question from the homie Lydia. What's up? She says, I have an old line of credit that I used to build my credit many years ago. now that my credit is very good, should I hang on to that line of credit?
Absolutely. Yes. Do not close any old accounts that you have, especially if they are in good standing. A lot of people make that mistake. They feel like just because they're not using that line of credit anymore, they should close it. Do not do that, because that is one of the factors that factors into your credit score is your credit age. So you want to keep those accounts reporting. Even if you don't use them, they'll still be reporting positively on your credit report. Just by being open and being in good standing. So if you don't have any payments on them, you don't have any negative marks, then that account is essentially in good standing, and you want it to keep reporting on your credit report.
Batter up. You just not gonna any more questions, because I'm learning a lot. Lydia, you can PayPal me that credit line. No, I'm just playing. But no, I'm really we're gonna do some business. I'm really going to yeah, we're gonna lock up with that. So tell me, who's one of the biggest clients that you've worked with, like companies that you've worked with?
Companies. I've had some pretty important clients, but because of confidentiality, and a lot of people don't like to know that like other people to know that I'm working with them, because they don't like, it's a sensitive topic. Like people are, it's almost like the what's the program, witness protection, where they come sneaking in the back door, like they won't ask you any questions in public. It's like a secret thing. So I don't know. I've got some clients in the music industry, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Y'all didn't blink. All that bling bling done ruined their credit. And they like, listen.
A lot of these people running around here with golds all in the mouth and chains and all else, they got money, but their credit is shot. And I've come across a lot of people like that. Like, a lot of people have money, but their credit is terrible. So it's like, yeah, let's get the full picture together. If you're gonna be running around here bling blinging and all this, let's at least make sure you legit. You know what I'm saying? You bling blinging, but your credit's right. You got your, you can qualify for a house. You can do whatever you need to. And a lot of people just have it like that, so they don't worry about credit because they've always had money and they pay cash for everything. But I'm like, yo, you are really missing out, because you can be leveraging this money that you have to get more. You know what I mean? Invest in real estate and things like that. So it's like, yeah, definitely got to kick game to these folks, and that's what I do.
So how does your consultations work, especially now that we're in COVID? I'm pretty sure everything's virtual. How does one link up with you to do that?
So my consultations have always been virtual. I've never done any in-person stuff. It's just easy that way. I know that people have things to do, including myself, and it's just more convenient that way. So I try to make it as smooth and as easy as possible for people. So literally all you have to do is go to my website, majorleaguecr.com. You can book a consultation there. You can call me. My number is 720-499-4427. Shoot me a text message, give me a call, go to the website. You can schedule a consultation there, and during the consultation, what we'll do is pull your credit report and we'll go over it together, and I'll just identify whatever is holding your score down and give you a plan of action on how to get it together, what you need to do to bring it up. Some people need to just boost their score with booster links. Some people need to do some disputes and things like that. So it just depends, and we'll go over it during the consultation. It's usually a 30-minute consultation. It doesn't take long.
So what's that phone number again? Let me put it on the screen.
Yes, it is 720-499-4427. Hit me up.
Hit me up, shout it. You know what I'm saying? Man, you should get a lot of calls today. And matter of fact, going on in the future, because this video will be playing on multiple social media sites. So for everybody and anybody that is interested in rehabbing, giving some plastic surgery, being born again, credit.
Right, for real.
Hit up Chevon. Chevon, she gonna get you together because she about to get your boy together. Even though I'm decent, but I need to get that business credit so I can go out here and buy this Bentley under him. No, I'm just playing.
And you can get cars. You can get a car under your business credit. So if you have a business where you're traveling and you're doing a lot of driving and things like that, real estate agents, people that are around the city, contractors are a big one. Um, Truck drivers. Truck drivers. That's another big industry that a lot of people are getting into. So yes, there are so many industries where you need that fleet credit, where you can get gas cards, you can go get a vehicle, and there's dealers where they will give you a car without any documentation with just your business credit information, your business information. You can get a car with just your EIN at certain dealerships. BMW, Ford, there's a lot of them. I have a whole list. Yeah.
So that means if my guy Cha is still online, my guy I grew up with him. He's a truck driver. He's a trucker, and we have conversations about him starting his own trucking company. So you can definitely get him together, and we can see a semi, and then I can wrap it and put my face on the side and be like, "Hey," while he's taking packages from countryside to countryside. There he is, yeller.
Hit me up.
So,
yes, indeed.
Since I have him on the line, I'm gonna ask a question. So, what would be his first steps in starting his trucking company under you? Like, if he were to come to you, what would be like A through Z?
A through Z. So, well, we got to get the entity set up. That can be a lot of steps. A through Z is a lot of steps.
Well, maybe not A through Z.
But yeah, get your entity set up. Make sure that your business is set up correctly. Get your Dun and Bradstreet number. Set up those vendor lines of credit. It's a process, and it only takes about 4 to 6 months. Honestly, it sounds like a long process and a daunting task, but it's really not all that bad. If you lock in and you really want to get it done, them 4 or 6 months will be up before you know it. So yeah, 4 to 6 months to build out your business credit, getting those store and vendor lines of credit, and then getting to the point where, you want your personal credit to be good too. So, if you don't have good personal credit, we would be working on that while you're building out your business credit. So by the time you're done building out your business credit, your personal credit is straight too, and you're able to get approved for the bigger loans to get your trucks and whatever fleet credit you need, things like that.
And all it takes is one truck. You get one truck, that's more money. Then you get 2 trucks, that's more money.
Yep. And as long as you continue to pay those lines of credit back and those loans and things like that back on time, then shoot, later down the line, you can get qualified for more cash. It's not like you just get funding one time. You can get funding on top of funding on top of funding. So as long as you're being responsible with it, then lenders are going to want to loan you money because that's how they make money. Yep.
He says he'll be reaching out to you. Thank you. All right.
For sure.
I'm looking forward to that. I want to get a I want to get a ride in the truck. I want to just drive around the parking lot. Well, does anybody else have any more questions before we get out of here and start this beautiful Saturday? Kiana's not here for me to tease her about the Indianapolis weather, but I heard that Indianapolis has some good weather today, so I won't be teasing you, but it's summertime here in Atlanta. Any more questions from my people online? All right. Well, we got one more. Ooh, let's see. Come on, Lydia. Come on, somebody. She says, I read once that it is a good idea to add teens as authorized users on a personal credit card to help build that credit. Is that true?
It is. However, they are starting to crack down on authorized users. They've been doing this since the 80s, I think. So they've been doing authorized users for a long time. I did add my son as an authorized user when I was getting his credit together. So I did put him on a couple of my credit cards, and that did boost his score. In addition to some booster links, I have some links to help boost they're specifically for people with either no credit or poor credit to help boost their score. So if that's something that you need, please reach out to me and I'll get those booster links out to you. But yes, adding him as an authorized user will help him.
Yes.
Yes.
And I know that'll help because my mama helped me out. What's up, baby?
Oh.
Let's give my mama another shout out. That's my mama. Lydia says, thank you for that information.
You're
Tony
welcome.
Stark says, great information. Thanks for having her on the show.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
it is
Absolutely.
my pleasure having her on here. Any more questions before we get out of here? You got her online right now, people. You better ask it now or you're going to.
Hit me up.
Yeah, or hit her up.
MajorLeagueCR.com, 720-499-4427.
We need to get you a song like Mike Jones. Chevon, what? 720-44. Nah, I'm just ain't gonna do that. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been our show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like and share this video because I know there's a lot more people that needed this information. Again, Chevon Patrick, you can reach her at MajorLeagueCR.com and then 720-499-4427. Go and get your credit. Go and get your credit right.
That's right. Hit me up.
It's summertime. Summertime fine. Go and get your credit right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that's been our show. Y'all take care. Have an enjoyable Saturday. Be safe.